Hello everyone, this is H&TSE Productions speaking and welcome back to another Q&A video. So for those who haven't heard already, a few weeks ago I made an announcement video saying that I was going to make another Q&A video. Because why not? To be honest, I haven't reached any certain milestone for this channel other than reaching 700 followers on SoundCloud. Thank you by the way. And neither on Instagram or Twitter or my second channel or bloody DeviantArt. And of course I was kinda overworking myself with Hilda and the Southern Engines lately in terms of filming and lack of finding more VAs and replacement VAs for a few Hilda voices and stuff. And while that was happening, I wanted to go sidetrack for a bit and went back and rewatched a few videos I made back in 2022. I sound absolutely ridiculous back then. And the one video that got me the most interest was my previous 2022 Q&A video. And it didn't aged very well. So like I mentioned before, I decided to make another Q&A video, which this time it's not cringy and is much more well done. I'm also gonna bring the following rules again for those who forgot what they were. Number 1, maximum of questions are free. Number 2, personal questions are not allowed in any sort of way. Number 3, repeated questions don't count. Number 4, don't ask for a release date for episode 4. And number 5, any questions related to the things I like or I do are valid. Alrighty, I think that sums up everything. Now with that out of the way, let's get this started.
Jonathan, the useful train and MLP guy, asks, what do you think of Blue Train with Friends?
Don't get me wrong, I love Blue Train with Friends, but most of the time it has hits and misses. On one hand, you have these very good detail engines that you can't stop looking at for hours, and on the other hand, you have some people who play this game that are very toxic to each other. But overall, it's a really fun game.
How did you start liking MLP?
Now, my first exposure on watching MLP wasn't because of Diesel D199's Abroni on the line short. It was actually a user by the name of Sean Britton, which some of you youngsters from the early 2010s remember this guy's work from the past. I don't exactly remember what episode from his Thomas and MLP crossover series I watched as a kid, but I can safely say that because of his channel, it was the very first time that I actually watched something related to My Little Pony.
Sword asks, which Thomas character do you hate the most?
I don't know. Maybe a tie between Billy and Charlie? I'm very basic, sorry.
Best locomotives in real life?
Flying Scotsman, Stepney, Stephenson's Rocket, and Taleclean. The engine, not the railway. But more so Flying Scotsman, which I'll later explain why it's my favorite in the next few questions.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Fairly Sudrian Brony asks, what is your favorite Thomas fan story?
I actually have a ton of favorite Thomas fan stories, but I think the ones that I like the most are Express Permission, Edwards Express, Coaches and Quarrels, and A Streak of Blue, for now anyways.
Who do you like to collaborate with the most?
If it is in terms of Thomas, Hilda, or any other franchise related, then perhaps with my friends.
What people inspired you to make Hilda and the Sudrian engines?
There are a few things for what I've been inspired to make Hilda and the Sudrian engines in the first place. Idea-wise, George Scarson Productions' Thomas, Bambi and Friends Adventure series, also now known as Collided Worlds, and Zebra 476's Thomas and the Blue Hedgehog series. Writing-wise, it had to be Trampy's writing. The only major thing that I'd removed from that was the swearing and cuss words.
I'm gonna keep screaming at you because I have the right to speak! This is my branch line and you can't take it away! I will if I have to! Blow my whistle, Tom!
Those are, for the most part, the only big inspirations I had for Hilda and the Sudrian engines. There are more work from other people that I could count, but that's enough from what I can tell.
IronMew05 asks, hey Angel, I was wondering, what role is Johanna going to serve in episode 4? Will she be serving a major role or a minor role?
Minor, actually. She ain't gonna have a lot of screen time, apart from giving her a bunch of lines and stuff.
Yams Ramsey asks, what is your favorite Batman comic?
Sorry, I never read the comics or watched any other Batman show, so I can't tell.
What's the best Thomas movie in your opinion?
Lost Treasure and The Adventure Begins. But I also have a little bit of nostalgia with Hero of the Rails, so that also counts.
If I threw a rock onto the express line, would Gordon go flying all the way into my school?
That depends, really. If your school is on Soto, for example, and he's hella far away from the express line and Gordon bumps into a small rock, then I suppose he may or may not crash. Either one of those has to be.
Jamie Davison asks, have you ever heard of Brum? If so, what do you think of it?
I did heard of Brum, but I never really watched it as a kid. So again, I can't tell.
What is your least favorite Hilda episode from each season?
Season 1, The Ghost, as everyone from the fandom universally agrees. Season 2, The Yule Lads, perhaps. And Season 3, a tie between The Laughing Merman or Strange Frequencies. My only issues with Laughing Merman are 1, it rather feels a bit cartoonish for my liking sometimes. And 2, this.
Oh no! Is that my voice? I don't think this is funny.
What they were thinking while they're making this episode, man. And as for Strange Frequencies, the frequencies only happens at the start and at the end of the episode. The rest is just trying to have peace between the different types of Nisses, which is baffling because 70% of the episode is just Nisse conflict focused and 50% is the frequencies conflict. I could be wrong though, but that's just my opinion. And I hope most of the fandom don't kill me because of this.
Naveen the Wolf Dragon asks, which engine do you think Old Slow Coach would be best along with, like Henrietta with Toby?
I suppose it could be either Edward or Emily, for example. After all, they're both old but still useful to be in service, and both engines were built in the 19th century, which is also shown in King of the Railway as they had interest to talk to Stephen at the Steamworks.
If you could change something about one of the Thomas characters, who would it be, and what would you change? Design? Livery?
The only characters that I like to think they would deserve a different livery are Donald and Douglas. Maybe they return in Lost Treasure, one twin will be shown with the OG black livery and the other one blue, or better yet, even both. That honestly would have been so fire to see one more Railway series reference.
Who do you think is the most underused Sonic character?
It has to be Sonic. Don't get me wrong. I can understand on one point he has to be the main character for every single damn game Sega releases. But like, you have hundreds of characters in your library, why don't you use some of them for once? You gave Shadow his own game, so why don't they make a game about Tails or Knuckles or Amy or motherfucking Cream, for crying out loud? Anyway, that's just my simple answer to your question. And perhaps any other Sonic fans who watch my channel will agree with my statement.
Thomas Fan 1928 asks, how did you start your channel?
So, before I began making videos on this channel, I made a couple of videos on my very old and small and slow laptop, just to see how well I can manage making random Thomas music videos if one day I can make a YouTube channel. As time went by, I kept improving my skills on video editing with different kinds of other non-Thomas related videos and other types of video editing softwares. And here I am today, a grown-ass man who can make more and almost professional good-looking Thomas videos for your entertainment, just like the Unlucky Tug. But we're getting there.
Which program do you use to make music?
The program I use is called Mixcraft 9 Pro Studio, or Mixcraft 9 for short.
What's your favorite Thomas character?
Edward. And yes, I'll say that again like I said in my last Q&A video on why Edward is my favorite. Edward is such a great character in so many ways that a few Thomas fans for some reason prefer James than him, and they don't see how much stuff he has done over the years. He finally had his chance to come out of the shed after a long time stuck doing absolutely nothing. He helped pushing Gordon up the hill so many times. He, alongside Henry, helped pulling Gordon straight after his safety valve broke. He rescued James and Boko's asses after being in a runaway and being threatened by Bill and Ben after taking their trucks without asking. He saved a fellow steam engine from almost being sent for scrap, and later helped Trevor with the garden party for the vicar. He and Thomas became the biggest chats of all time after teaching Gordon a lesson for being a dick towards him. And to top it all off, he managed to get a train full of passengers with one single wheel without side rods on a rainy day, and managed to get the train somewhat on time. And the best part is, he never gave And yes, despite his character in the hit era was horrendous to say the least.
Fancy sending a back engine to do an express engine's job, sniffed Gordon. He'll lose the race and let the whole railway down, said James. Edward is a waste of steam, he sniffed.
I'm sorry, Thomas, Edward wheezed miserably. I'm not a really useful engine anymore. So Top of Hat will have to send me for scrap.
Edward looked at the crane. Gordon was right. Then I don't think he can be really useful. He will only get in the way. Can I come with you? I don't need your help, sniffed Edward. Newfangled nonsense.
I don't care. Edward is my favorite character, and I'll say it like that until the day I die. And on another note, his theme is an actual bop. Like, seriously, even though the other characters' themes are also peak music, Edward's theme slays everyone else. Like, come on man, listen to this. You can see again why he's my favorite character.
The Magic Railroad Studios asks, what are you hoping to see for the 80th anniversary for the Thomas franchise for next year?
If there is a possible chance that Mattel would even have the balls to show for the 80th anniversary, aside the Down the Mine pilot or the Mark Forces Thomas's movie, which I'm sure that's gonna happen at some point, is the OG 1984 Purpex model. If we have the plastic Henry model that was shown in the Audrey Extravaganza free event from last year, then I'm 100% sure that we will see the original Season 1 Thomas model in some kind of exhibition or something. Just a thought, of course.
If you wish for a piece of new Hilda content, what would you want it to be? Like another movie or spin-off?
I would say a Johanna spin-off. I mean, it's not because of the fact we already know about Johanna's actual backstory in the Fairy Isles episode and the rest of the entirety of Season 3. I think if they were going to make a Johanna spin-off, then I would say it will have like a form of 10 episodes. Because if you go back to the Fairy Isles episode, you'll remember that the fairy entity said something like this.
In 10 years, I will return and you will give the girl to me.
I know that in the flashback images, we saw how much Johanna did while she had her powers around, but I think with these images will probably work for a really potential spin-off. And perhaps it'll get a lot of money for Netflix if they do it, just saying.
What do you think of Bluey?
Bluey's a pretty damn beautiful show, and I think you should also watch it as well. If you're interested, of course.
Alex the Elner J72 asks, what's your favorite British and American steam locomotives?
From my favorite British steam locomotive, Flying Scotsman. And it's not because the engine made the first fully appearance in the Great Race or in the Railway series, but because it was the very first steam locomotive that I discovered outside of Thomas. Not to mention that it has a very good history about its build process, records, travels, and much more. And as for my favorite American locomotives, I don't have any. I'm not very familiar with those.
What's your favorite YouTubers?
If you mean by Thomas YouTubers, then my favorites are Unlucky Tug, obviously, Thomas Furious, Usual Luke, Carson's Video Workshop, Master of the Lemons, Trampy, Caleb Train, Brenda Race 10, The Bogey Boy, Major Engine Studios, Liz Productions Fight 784, Biscuit Cat Productions, Tram Engine Studios, Train Boy, Demon of Nowhere, Mainland Studios, I Love Trains 3 to 3, Fan of Thomas 31, Piece of J, TTTE Guy, James is Here, and much, much more. And if you mean by favorite YouTubers in general, then those will be Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Alan Becker, Chick Flick, Let Me Explain Studios, Jaden Animations, Senor Pelo, Crafting Pony, Gooseworks, SNG4, Greenlight, Examination, Enchanted Mob, Hot Diggity Demon, Pymations, My Naxa, etc.
Asides Thomas and Hilda, what other shows do you watch?
Other shows that I watch or watched recently besides Thomas and Hilda are Tugs, Digital Circus, The Owl House, Amphibia, My Little Pony, Sonic Prime, The Cuphead Show, Wonder of Yonder, The Ghost and Molly McGee, The Amazing World of Gumball, Phineas and Ferb, Breaking Bad, The Office, mostly clips, Yellowstone, Sheldon Cooper, The Big Bang Theory, again, mostly clips, and I think that's it.
Mr. Junction asks,
¿Se pueden hacer preguntas en español? Carita no muy fachera facherita.
have you ever used trains at some point?
No, but I wish I could if only I had enough money to buy it.
Stuart Barkley asks, what do you think of the MLP episode, Parental Guidance?
Okay, so I had to go back and rewatch this episode and I finished it right now as I'm typing this script. And to be honest, I like it. The moral is actually pretty damn good in my opinion.
What is your favorite scene from Thomas and the Magic Railroad?
Maybe this shots from the window. I think they look cool.
Do you like Bob the Builder?
No, but I did watch a few episodes when I was a kid. I'm also not very fond with the CGI transition, to be honest.
The Green B17 asks, what's your opinion on Team Fortress 2?
It's pretty good. I haven't played the game yet, but looking at the many receptions from other people and especially a school partner that doesn't stop talking about it, then maybe one of these days I'll play it. If my PC lets me, of course.
Favorite music?
If you mean by genre of music, then orchestral, synth, and jazz music.
Train fan the Red MLP Tank Engine 2006 asks, when did you get into Hilda?
By watching a Thomas-style music video from the Hilda theme song made by Demon of Nowhere.
What are your favorite Thomas episodes from the classic series?
Season 1, Edward and Gordon. Season 2, A Close Shave. I'm very basic, sorry. Season 3, Thomas Gets Bumped. Season 4, I don't have any, since I think all the episodes from this season are really good. And Season 5, Cranky Box.
What are your favorite seasons of MLP?
Like before, I don't have any. I think they were good in my opinion.
Trainboy Ohio asks, out of all the toy companies, what company do you think is the best that can handle Thomas in your opinion?
Probably Hasbro.
Have you heard of the channel Hobbit Nerd Steamworks? If so, what's your favorite video he has created?
I think I actually saw that channel before and I actually watched his Henry and the Flying Kipper video. But as for favorite video from his channel, I don't have any. Sorry.
Have you ever seen the live-action Transformers movies? If so, which one is your favorite?
The Transformers live-action movies aren't usually my biggest taste when it comes to toy franchise adaptations, but I will say this though, some of the movies aren't actually not that bad, and they're really well scripted, directed, orchestrated, live-acted, and most importantly, animated. And as for favorite, I'ma say Rise of the Beasts.
Steam is King Productions asks, how have you been so far?
Doing a Q&A right now, thank you.
What's your favorite non-British locomotive?
I don't think I have any.
Eagahuga wagahaga wagha waga hey hey hey.
The f*** you say to me, you little shit?
Stephen Lines asks, what's your favorite Cars movie?
1 and 3. Big cinema if you ask me.
Have you ever heard of the 2003 version of Strawberry Shortcake?
I think I did, but I haven't watched any episodes from that show.
T asks, favorite Thomas the Tank Engine season?
3, 5, and 21.
Favorite narrow gauge character?
Probably a tie between Scott Lowy, Rusty, or Duncan.
Earth asks, what video editing software do you use?
CapCut. Yeah, I use CapCut. Like, what? You thought I was using Premiere or something? Ha! In your dreams. I only use Premiere for like one video and that's it.
Steamboat Productions asks, what Roblox Thomas game you want to get revived?
I don't know. Take Out Solo, I guess?
What is the most poorly researched Thomas video you've watched?
I'm not sure, actually. Oh wait, poor and edgy fan-made Thomas crossover videos from the mid-2010s.
Favorite train character that isn't from Thomas?
Ivor the Engine, I suppose.
Derailed Studios asks, if you could, would you use trains?
If my PC is powerful enough, then yeah, sure. Also, thank you. Have a good day to you too.
Ethan the Engine 7 asks, which country in each of the 6 continents would you go on holiday to?
The UK and US. And probably Japan and Venezuela. But only for visiting my origins. And yes, you heard me right. I'm actually Venezuelan, aka Latino, not Spanish. And I don't want to get into detail about it because, you know, family privacy, and a lot of you won't care. And as for the rest of the other continents, nah, I don't really feel like it.
Opinions on other Thomas Roblox games, i.e. Thomtoys 1, 2, 3, Sodor Online, etc.
The Thomtoys games. Very colorful, fun and creative with its models, GUI and map. Sodrigiles. Season 1 accuracy to its best. Although most of the majority of the models besides Thomas, Audrey Thomas and Flat Running Mode Thomas, they kinda don't look as accurate as the original Season 1 models, but overall, it's really fun to play. Highly recommend it. Sodor Simulator. Haven't played it yet since I don't have enough Robux. Yes, I'm poor, deal with it. But looks very interesting. Hope one day I can play it. TTG Reloaded. It's good. I don't play it as often, but it's really good anyways. Colorful engines. Pretty much the same with TTG. But it's now a Railway Series theme game, so I'll give it more points to that. Sodor Online. Yeah. Maybe not. The other Dead Speed Escape games. I visit some of them from time to time. The others are pretty much inaccessible.
Best Bad Era.
Guava.
Brione Eniko Enanes asks, what is your opinion on Big Engine Brawl, and what is your favorite song from the mod?
A pretty well made mod in my opinion. The cutscenes, the art style, the mechanics, the voice acting, the characters' themes and songs are all on point. I even got to play it a day later when it came out, because I was busy. As for my favorite songs from the mod, Puffball, Indignation and Loathed.
What are your thoughts on the Trampy movies?
Absolutely very well written, edited, in terms of images, voice acted, and how hilarious it is at times.
Yeah, thank you for the help, guys! Some friends you all are! Really appreciate it!
What do you want us to do? We ordered Steve.
What could you do? Maybe quit arguing about dumb, stupid shit that doesn't matter!
Dumb, stupid what?
Timo and Smiley asks, what is your favorite color?
Blue and grey.
What are your hobbies?
Play my flute, write stories, for the most part draw stuff, make videos and music, and do a little bit of voice acting. Kind of.
Hilda or Thomas?
Both. They're my source of energy to live in this cruel and dark world nowadays. And also both because I can. Hehe.
Trackside Maniac asks, what's your favorite piece of music that you've made?
That really depends on my mood, on how I feel like I'm making a random theme of mine. But if I have to choose a few, I would say Ghostly Runaway, Percy Promise, which is a mashup based from Tridash's Pinky Promise YTP and V, my Stay God mashup, and Jesse No Trucks.
What's the hardest project you've had the displeasure of making?
If I have to be sincerely honest, it had to be, without a doubt, the semi-adaptation for Hilda and the Sodor Ninjas Chapter 4. This has to be one of the hardest and longest projects that I've ever done in my entire Saint life. And I don't know what kind of brain cells I was thinking when I made this decision back then, but hey, the show must go on, you know.
Noel the NWR E2 Tank Engine Productions 2024 asks, least favorite Thomas movie?
Boba.
Least favorite Thomas season?
I suppose season 12 or any other Miller and Boba seasons.
Alex the Epic Tank Engine asks, when did you came across Thomas and how did you feel?
So my first exposure to Thomas was by watching 2 episodes from season 8 on Discovery Kids. And as for how I felt, I mean, I don't know. I was a little kid when I first watched those episodes, so I guess I felt like I was watching a preschool show to be entertained, I guess.
How did you feel when you joined YouTube?
I guess I was a bit nervous when I first began making my first YouTube channel. Mainly because I was new to the fandom and I didn't know how to make actual quality videos back in the day.
Can you possibly voice one of the 8 famous engines for my series Thomas Toy Railway Shorts?
Sorry, but right now I'm kinda busy working on stuff that I don't want to spoil, by the way. And as much as I would like to, sorry man, but not now.
Coolfish here asks, will the music you make be in Hilda and the Sudrian engines?
I mean, obviously,
I know I can't ask the release date for episode 4, but will you make more of it into a series?
Well, yeah. Again, Hilda and the Soldering Engines is after all a mini-series. And of course, there's the previous episodes that I released from almost 2 years ago at this point. You can give them a watch if you're interested.
Euronix fan asks, have you already done episode 4 for Hilda and the Soldering Engines?
Listen, I don't want to be rude with you, but no, we're not gonna tell you when it's gonna come out yet. So please be patient. Okay? Let's move on. Last question.
BJJ fan 2009L asks, what's your opinion on the railways of Cartoonia, Thrills on Rails, Toy Tales Adventures and Cartoon Game Team to the rescue?
Railways of Cartoonia, really good. Thrills on Rails, the pilot was pretty damn good. Toy Tales Adventures, never heard of it in my life. And I just recently searched it while I'm typing the script, and I don't think I have interest in watching it. Cartoon Game Team to the rescue. I've only seen a few parts from it, mainly because for the most part Hilda only has a few speaking rules. That's it.
What's your favorite MLP character?
Now, I said in my previous Q&A video that my favorite characters were Twilight, Sunset and Starlight. But to be fair, I only picked those because I'm pretty basic and just for the sake of answering that question. A very hypocritical move, shall we say. However, I actually have a character that really got me the most interest recently, and it's a background character to be precise. That character being Octavia Melody. And I'm sure you're wondering, why her exactly? Well, for a few obvious reasons. One, she's British.
Do we know what they're on about? A monster attack? Blast! I'm performing at the ceremony this afternoon and I still haven't sorted out what to play. How am I meant to practice with a monster invading Ponyville? Stop! I'm going to be late for the wedding!
2, she likes music just like Vinyl and me to an extent, and she plays cello. And 3, for the most part, I kinda like her character trait, despite the very few screen time she had on like one episode. But screw it, I like Octavia.
Do you like Batwheels, 101 Dalmatian Street, Infinity Train, Turbo, or Turbo Fast and Spooky Month?
No, only saw the intro, only heard of it, only saw it as a kid and no, and a little bit. And with that, ladies, gentlemen, and people in between, is the entire 2024 Q&A video. Oh boy, so many questions, so much time to edit stuff. Gotta be honest, this video took a little more time to make than I was expecting since I thought it would take less time to make. But at least it didn't take too long to make, unlike my recent update video for 2024. Nonetheless, it's already done, and I feel quite satisfied with it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, hold on guys, give me a sec. Yes, what is it now? Right, wait a minute, what did you say again? A teaser video? Since when did I say such a Wait. Oh. Yeah, I remember now. Alright, I'm on it. Thanks for reminding me though. You know that I sometimes can be quite forgetful with things. Yeah, I know. Alright, I'll do it. No need to yell at me. Sheesh. Alright, thanks. Have a good day. Sorry about that, folks. It appears that there's one more special thing that I've been cooking for a little while. And this is something that a lot of you have been requesting me for about a year now. And so, here it is. Take it away, editor. Oh wait, I'm actually the editor. Oh well, enjoy anyways.
James, we're going to make a plan.
Wait, what?
not sure if this is such a good idea.
Hilda, I think you should hold on tight, because we're going to have a very bumpy ride!
Yep, that's right, my dear viewers. After so much time planning, rescheduling, refilming, finding more VAs, recomposing, and last but not least, recasting, Hilda and the Sovereign Engines Chapter 4 will soon have a release date coming later this year. This episode, in my opinion, is what I would consider to be the most time-killing and the worst back pain that I have had in my entire life ever since I began making this miniseries. I know that a lot of you have also been wishing for ages to get this damn thing out, but alas, it's all coming together. Now I will say this though, there could be a possible chance that maybe, just maybe, the release date may or may not be pushed back just a little longer due to some circumstances like school or family stuff, or maybe even finding a real job to an extent. But don't you worry. Soon, if the grace of God gives me the biggest opportunity to finish this episode as soon as possible for your entertainment, then I'll make sure it'll come out with a bang. Mark my words. Now, going sidetracked for a little bit, I want to give a small shout out to Coolfish here for not just asking a few questions, but also because it's his birthday. Or should I say, was his birthday almost a month ago. Whoops. But anyways, Coolfish, if you're watching this video, then I would like to tell you that I made your promise just like you asked me to do, and hope you had a good time on the day. And lastly, for some small updates regarding the already planned projects that I mentioned in my recent update video, the majority of them are currently in the script process. I did not give it the proper time to continue with those, since in the meantime I want to get chapter 4 done as soon as possible, but don't worry, these other videos will hopefully reach the light of day, but not too soon of course. I should also like to mention that I have 1 month exactly before I return to school on the 15th. That means that I may or may not post a lot before my absence on YouTube comes. After that, I won't post stuff for a very long time. Again. Still, expect a few videos to come out in these next few weeks or so. And with that, we finally reached the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.